All right, so in this video, we are going to start with a YouTube training. And let me go, I'm actually going to pull it up here and then I'll share my screen with you. And so we are going to post a video and go through the full posting process and maybe talk a little bit more broadly about the content creation process as well. So first, can you see this okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I had a little bit of extra time the other day and I was looking for bigger opportunities for content to start filling out the website more. And so I wrote a second post. One originally was how to share the gospel. So we have a large post on that. And then I wrote one on evangelism and the keywords there, access denied. I own you. You're signed in as well. That would probably be part of the reason. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to come over here. Or I'm going to come over here. There we go. Okay, let's see here. ClickMail keyword content. I think that's it. Okay, so this is the ClickMail content strategy and Control F EVANG. Control F EVANG. Okay, sweet. GPL. Okay, down. Creative ways to evangelize. Okay, so for starters, just on that, anytime someone's looking up for creative ministry ideas, creative ways to evangelize, like, what do you mean creative? What they're trying to communicate there is they don't know how to do it in a way that works. So they're looking for new ways to do it that might work. So they don't really need creative. They just need to learn how it works properly. Okay. So anyway, evangelism ideas, bunch of things on event. Where is it? There we go. Evangelism training. So I wrote this 320 with 24. So it's actually pretty good in regard to our niche. And evangelism training. There's also evangelism training for churches, evangelism training for ministries. Here's evangelism training for churches, evangelism training program. So I was like, well, not only is that a monetizable keyword, but I love evangelizing. That's one of my favorite things. So I wrote a post and then I was like, well, I wonder over on YouTube, I wonder if that's got anything because I haven't made some YouTube videos in a while. And that has 11,000 hits a month. And the competition is 19 out of 100. So that's real low. And then evangelism training, 2,200 searches a month with 18 difficulty. This is really great because this means evangelism, the single word keyword, is just as easy to rank for as like evangelism training, a more niche kind of long tail keyword. Does that make sense?
Yeah, do you think that they're low because people like ministries don't know how to use keyword tool and
Yes,
things like that?
100%. If ministries knew how to do keywords, think about it this way. When I used to work with wedding venues, and I used to do just tons of advertising for Napa Valley, Sonoma County winery wedding venues that are $20,000, a weekend, like just crazy $10,000 a day type places. And we'd tell them, hey, you need a 2-minute video or a 3-minute, 5-minute video giving these brides a tour who aren't on your side of the country or something. They would be like, oh my gosh, so expensive. Are you kidding? We'd have to hire a videographer and an editor, but this would cost a bunch of money. Yes, you need to have a video of your place. Churches are media companies. They film everything. They have content, oodles and oodles of content. If every church in the world could just go back, do keyword research, and keyword target everything they've made, the internet would just immediately become a Christian place to be. You'd be like chilling in a Christian coffee shop on Google because there's so much content. So yes, to your point, yeah, the reason why there's no competition here is because pastors just make stuff up. They have no idea what people are actually searching for. They just have a great idea. And then they title it like, Romans 37:5, talking to people you don't know, and then it doesn't show up for that because it doesn't match the search intent of the people looking up the keyword talking to people you don't know, right? Or for example, even a better one, I had a pastor who said, "Hey, tell me why this blog isn't showing up. Give me some training here." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I go and look at it. It's his not his blog. His sermon was titled "Free Agency in the Bible," and he's talking about theology in this sermon about whether or not people have free will. I did some keyword research. Free agency in the Bible has 0 searches a month globally. So there's nobody looking for it. And that's what he is trying to rank for unknowingly. I look up free will in the Bible and there's like 3,000 or 4,000 searches a month. And I said, well, just change agency to will. And he thought I was kidding, but it's like, I'm not kidding. That you have the option to show up to a potential of 4,000 or a potential to 0 and you're 1 word off, and Google's not going to. There's other people saying free will, so Google's not going to show you in there, even though it's the same thing. So yeah, that's basically why the competition is so low. And hey, if they're not going to do it, then we've got to do it, and that's the same thing with Christian marketing and marketing for ministries. Ministries don't want to learn marketing. They don't think it's important. They think that business is bad. And so we're the people that are going to have to do it because we're not going to reach people unless somebody does. So to that end, yeah, evangelism. So very low for a single word keyword. And you know what? Good for us. We'll go and we'll take it and we'll get the growth, right? And then what we'll do when we get it is we'll turn around and we'll say, look at all this growth we got. You need to come in as a client and you need to let us get it for you or train you how to get it. And then they do it. So we use the results due to this open door opportunity here. We use the results to turn around and sell them on how to grow stuff, right? Any further questions on that?
No, that's okay.
Okay, so we've got evangelism training, Christian evangelism, which is medium. So you kind of notice a little bit more there. Street evangelism. I'm not the biggest fan of street evangelism. I should probably make a video on that. Not the biggest fan because it often comes across very uncomfortable, but not to say that it doesn't have a place. Anyway, okay. Cool. So we've got that. And let's see, we've got the YouTube channel. So I have uploaded content. You can see this video here, dashboard. Oh, coming back here to dashboard. So this is the new one I put on 3 days and 12 hours ago. It's got 29 views, not very much, which is apparently higher than the average video. 3.6% click-through rate, which is okay. That's pretty good. Average view direction has come down from 52 seconds to 49 seconds. So this video probably isn't really grabbing them as much as it could. 48 seconds. I mean, it'd be better if it was like, minute and a half, 2, 3, 4 minutes, something like that. So that number is going to tell me about the structure of the video. So maybe this isn't really hitting as hard, or maybe they're looking for something different. But anyway, so let's go over here to content. And I'm actually interested to know how long the video is. It's 11 minutes and 47 seconds. So they're watching 50 seconds. That could be a little better. Analytics. And let's come here. And this video. Okay, great. Here is what I'm looking for. This is important. We don't want to lose more than about 30% of the audience in the first, at 30 seconds, we want at least 30% of the audience left. And so you'll notice right here, 28 seconds, we've got 36% left, but it's a quick drop to the bottom. So something did not resonate in this, and I don't know what it is, but we'd have to go back and check it out. So let's see, basically from the get-go to 1 minute, it's dropping straight down. Hello and welcome, Brett here with clickmill.co. In this video, we're going to be answering the question, what is the gospel message? So let's just go ahead and let's get started. So the gospel message essentially has 2 components, but before we get into those, the gospel message essentially means the good news. Can you hear this? So when Jesus is on earth and he is going through his ministry, he is telling his disciples to share the good news. And so we're going to talk about what the good news is. That's the gospel message. But let's start with these first two components of the gospel message. So the first component is essentially the narrative, the story that the gospel message itself is sort of nestled in. So we need to know that. Okay, so interesting. So this is just pretty much a hard teaching. I mean, I'm just basically going directly into the teaching. So, you know, it seems like there's a high, and again, this is not a lot of data to go on. I mean, there's only 25 views. So probably wait for more, but kind of interesting that what is the gospel message? Maybe they're wanting to hear the gospel message preached to them. So they get in here and they're like, oh, never mind. But anyway, you want about 30% of your audience left, at least 30 to 50 around the 50, what am I saying? The 30-second mark. So you're going to see a sharp drop pretty much right off the bat every single time, but this is a little sharper than usual. I'll show you something that we're looking for over here. Let's see here. What's one of the popular ones? Jeffrey. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at this one. Okay, so you'll notice this one's probably, yeah, see, that's much better. So you're going to get a sharp decline at the beginning of a video anytime, but you'll notice 30 seconds in, we've still got 60% of the audience. That's where you want to be, 60%. And you'll notice that first 30 seconds there is even kind of highlighted. And then as it drops down, you'll notice like there's a spike here. We get back up to 50% viewership here for some reason because something is said here. And if I actually is the case, then this means that 80% of ministries, let's just say in the West or in the United States, 80% of Christian ministries are getting 20% of the results of introducing people to a relationship with Christ or changing people's lives in a positive way. 80% of the ministries are only doing. That's so funny. Okay, so I'm talking about 80-20 rule, and I'm talking about how 80% or 20% of the ministries do 80%. And it spikes up when I say introducing people to Christ. And then it goes back down when I start talking about the actual content. So that tells you about the audience. You say introducing people to Christ and something like that, and they're super passionate and they'll watch at higher rates. And then as soon as you start telling them like data and actual strategies, their attention starts going away. Does that make sense? So it's so funny because that's a great representation of kind of ClickMill as a whole. It's like we're trying to sell pastors strategies, but they don't like strategy. So anyway, and then you'll see here, there's a pretty sharp decline here. And that's because that's the end of the video. And it's like, hey, like and subscribe and whatever. Any questions about this so far?
Not about that, but in terms of YouTube,
yes.
How much does, just because I was watching one like yesterday and they really push you to like and share, how much does that actually contribute to the videos being put out or reached by more people?
You know, okay, so the primary, so in terms of vision or primary goal with YouTube is minutes watched. Number one is minutes watched, and number two is they don't leave YouTube after they watch your video. Because what is YouTube concerned with? YouTube is concerned with having as many people on YouTube for as long as humanly possible. So your goal on YouTube is to get them stuck in a video spiral, right? So at the end, you're not actually asking them to subscribe or share because that's the most important thing. You just want to keep them going. And really probably a better ending is like, hey, check out this other video. You'll love this, or come over, you know, something to that effect. And so you're keeping them engaged. And that is when the algorithm is going to boost you more. Subscribe, you know, is basically like join my Facebook page or my Facebook group. It's just so they continue to get notifications and come back, which is good because you want to maintain your audience. However, you'll remember from talking about social media, it's not your audience. So I'm not even terribly concerned with that. It's more like, hey, subscribe. So I get the opportunity at some point again to siphon you off of YouTube and get you into the website. So subscribing is like a sub conversion. I don't really care about it that much. I just want the option. I just want the ability to get them to our site and capture them there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's someone that I watch that's like an apostle, and they have like a really big YouTube channel. Like it's growing a lot, and their
Yep.
content is like an hour plus long, like
Yep.
every single video, and yet they're doing so well.
Wow. That's great. Yeah, that's super great. One of the interesting things is with longer content. I mean, the base idea is that if you do long content, people aren't going to watch it because they won't pay attention. But the good thing about longer content is that people have the ability to watch more minutes. So it generally actually helps you, even if, you got a 2-hour video and they only watch 20 minutes. Well, these videos are 10 minutes, so they don't even have the option to watch more minutes. So there's a good argument to be made for longer videos. And not only that, if you can get people really serious, like, you'd better learn this stuff, because, whatever you cast the vision and you pull them into it and you go, listen, nobody's doing it. Nobody's, like in our case, nobody's doing church marketing. Churches are not reaching people effectively. They're not getting enough people in the front door, and they're not going to learn the marketing. So we need to do it. And you need to watch these videos and you need to get serious or whatever, and you cast the vision and you pump them up and they're like, yeah, church marketing. And then they watch 2 hours videos. I mean, that's kind of how you do that, because otherwise people don't, at least most people don't want to watch that amount of, what do you want to say, educational content, or, church. Who watches 2-hour church videos? Like a very small fraction of the population, So in order to do that, you really have to have followers, not fans like, oh yeah, I like that guy. It's like people who are putting into action everything you're saying. You know what I mean? So it would be worthwhile to figure out, how is this guy pulling people into such long videos, and thinking through that process so that you can actually replicate it in your own marketing efforts, right? Can also have to do with audience. I have a friend who's working on an apologetics website for a few years. His audience will spend 30 minutes on a blog, not because of anything he does. He just gives hard information about sharing the gospel and atheism and Buddhism and Hinduism and all these other things, and how to talk to these people. But his audience is intellectual and academic in nature, so they're just have a proclivity to read. So he's just tapped the right audience and given them the right content, and they'll just read forever. And so that could be it too. Maybe it's a particular denomination where they're just naturally very passionate. And what denomination are you in, or is that denomination?
What, sorry?
What denomination is that guy speaking from?
I don't actually know.
That's okay. Cool.
I don't know what denomination he's from at all, but I
Great.
think what you're saying is true. Like,
Yeah.
I think he has more followers, like people that actually watch his stuff all the time, like me. Like
Right.
I always check his YouTube channel just to see if he's posted something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like the shortest video will probably be like an hour.
Wow. Okay. Well, and see, that is an outlier. That is very unusual. That would be very contrarian to a typical YouTube channel. And what you would want to do, just like you're looking at a web page, you're like, hey, how did they get me? How did they get me to sign up for this? Let me go back and look at that, and let me see what worked for me, because if it works on me, it's going to work for somebody else. So you're a normal person doing normal things, but then you've got to bring the marketer back and say, what just worked? I was at the store and I found myself waiting in line at customer service, and like I think in terms of resources, right? And time is my most valuable resource. I do not like wasting time. And I'm sitting here for like 10 or 15 minutes waiting at customer service for a manager to give a compliment for some guy who went out of his way to help me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I standing here for? I've been wasting 15 minutes. Well, I was reciprocating a kindness. He went out of his way to help me. And I was like, man, this guy was so nice. I have got to repay it. I've got to go give him a compliment. This is great. And then the strategy that I teach, which maybe we'll see in some of these videos if you watch the evangelism videos I filmed. We reciprocate a kindness. When we listen to people, they want to listen to us. When people go out of their way for us, we want to go out of our way for them. We always instinctually repay. But I'm being the marketer and I'm watching myself go through this thing that I teach. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it works on me. And I teach it. So to your point, watch what works on you. What is it about this guy? And I'm interested to know if you figure it out. What is it about this speaker that brings you back? How is he speaking in such a way? And how can you use that to influence your own audiences in the future? Right? Those are the types of optimizations. And he's obviously a way outlier, because an hour minimum is crazy. People don't do that. People watch 2-minute videos on a cat doing a backflip off a jet ski and they're bored, And so, anyway, to that end, I would tell you, what is it about that video that does it? And I have some kind of theory just based on my understanding of how people, just human nature, when people are willing to sacrifice and when they're moving toward a vision and a cause that's worthwhile, they're willing to hang in longer, but there has to be a place worth going. So my guess is you're going to find a lot of passion and purpose and vision, goal-directed direction in those videos in some way. I don't know if that sounds right, but something to the effect of put off the flesh, sacrifice, die to yourself, and let's get moving would probably really keep people engaged, because what's one of the things that you would have to do is don't watch a 2-minute cat video, hang in here with me for minimum of an hour because we're going somewhere worth going. Something like that is probably present. Does that sound somewhat accurate?
Yeah, definitely.
Does it? Okay. I'm like fortune telling over here, but usually you have to get people comfortable sacrificing in order to get them to engage in that long, in things for that long. And I'll say, in addition to that, there are people who lead themselves and there are people who look to be led. Okay. So, for example, this guy who is speaking, he's obviously leading himself. He's doing all, presumably, he's reading his own Bible. He's engaging in his own relationship with God, and he's overflowing because he's doing this himself. And then he's able to give that to other people, and he's able to give them a direction. And so there's a lot of people who are naturally followers, and they're looking to follow someone who has a vision and who has a direction. And then there's the person who has that vision and has that direction. Well, in regard to education, right? And you seem to be the person that has kind of your own vision, your own direction. You've taken time off work, you've taken time off school. You're like, I'm just looking for the place where God wants me to go, because I know it's kind of in that area, but I'm going to wait for that. And I'm going to watch extra videos. I'm going to do training and listen to this guy talk about marketing and all this stuff. You know where you're going and you are directing your education. Most people don't do that. Most people don't watch hours and hours of Google Grant videos and pastors on YouTube. It's very hard to get people to engage in material. And it is because base human nature is sheep. We have no ends. We have no direction. And we sort of just wander around in circles watching the cat videos. And so a lot of people need to be given the vision. And that's why we talk so much about strategic, vision casting, because, it's just 80-20, right? A very small minority of the population sets their own vision and everybody else sort of doesn't have one and they just wander through life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to that end, it sounds like he's very good at setting that vision. And to that end, if you have vision and you know where you're going and you know how to do the education, then, that might speak to sort of your calling as to being a person who can motivate and encourage people to follow you in the direction that God has called you to make an impact. And so you can kind of see that some people are followers and they can do really good job working in a ministry. And some people are very good at setting the vision and doing all of the things necessary to do it themselves. And they're very good at running ministries. And that's a very entrepreneur versus employee kind of figuring out where you fall. But anyway, moving back into this, let's go ahead and let's make a video. So we've kind of looked at some of the analytics. We've kind of looked at that video and what we're looking for here, some analytics. This channel is not that big. I don't have a big channel. Again, because I don't really prioritize content outside of ClickMill. However, the way that this content works is exactly the same as anything works. It's just a big odds game. I used to worry about whether or not it was going to be a good enough video. And the reality is, if you want 1,000 subscribers, you need 150 videos, because out of 150, 1 or 2 or 3 are going to get a lot of views, and those are going to get you all your subscribers. And it's just like anything else, it's an exponential growth trajectory. You're going to start out, you're going to grind it out forever, and it's going to seem like you're never getting anywhere. And then all of a sudden, it's just going to start going up, just like with ClickMill, right? The website analytics, it's like 4 years of getting like 0 to 2 clicks a day. And then in the last year, we're at 300 to 400 clicks a day. You know, that's crazy. That's exponential. So anyway, to that, kind of show you, actually, that's not what I want to show you. Let's go back here. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. And I have not touched this in 6 months because we've had other things going on. Lifetime, there we go. Let's look at views. You'll notice very sparse over here, basically nothing here, but we've had the bottom pick up in here. And that is just as a result of posting more videos. You'll see I put 9 on here, 7 on here, I don't know, 9 plus there. So I'm just showing up in more places. You know, it's not even because I have the best content or I'm the greatest speaker. It's just because I'm taking more action than the next person, right? And that will just continue. The more we put on here, the more will come in, and sooner or later, you know, something will hit, and then people will just start pouring in. Now, I have a friend, his name's Jonathan, and he has a mechanics. He has a mechanics YouTube page, and he has been trying for like 5-6 years to get a YouTube page that's monetized, and you've got to have like 10,000 hits a month and so many hours viewed and so many subscribers. And he just put out a video on why your air conditioner doesn't cool. And of course, it's August, and the thing just blew the lid right off the top, and he's going to pass, you know, 30,000 views this month or something. And right time, it meets a need. He says it clearly, obviously, and YouTube stuck it right at the top, and he's probably going to monetize in the next couple months, something to that effect. So just a big odds game. It's like just fail faster and just get more stuff out. So that's the goal today. So right now, you can see, let's see if there's anything else in here. Subscribers, you'll notice fairly sparse on the left side. And as I put more videos on, we're getting more dense subscriptions. Why? Because there's more stuff. Watch time in hours, almost exactly the same thing as the views, you know? So anyway, let's come in regard to, I'll show you one more thing in regard to the 80-20. I want to show you that because it's such a powerful way to see reality. Let's look at that. Content, view, more metrics by subscribes, because that is subscriber gain. That's, you know, I can't say link clicks. It's not really a thing, but let's just say subscribes. We'll come in here for the lifetime and look at this. Subscriptions gained. This one video, my first Google ad, this is literally the very first video I ever posted. So this is really funny. Has 96 subscribers, which is 25% of the subscriptions in the entire channel. And I've got like 100 plus videos in here. I don't even know anymore, you know. It's, you know, it's like the next 4 or 5 videos combined. And so, you know, that tells me something. If I want to get subscribers, just go do more like that. Well, I really don't want to just make videos on YouTube. Or Google Grant, because it's not evergreen. So I'm making evergreen content, and that's where I'm focusing. And so next is church communication strategy. Okay, so pastors are all about communication. And so that's probably somewhere to hone in, but that's got 14. So that's really good. Church social media. I told you, pastors are pumped about church social media. That is where a big chunk of the subscribers comes from. And so you can come in here and you can see there's just a couple that basically are all of them. And then the rest of them are, very little, if not none. You see what I'm saying? So there's a very strong distribution of increase to a very small minority of videos. And that's the way it is with everything. It's also why you've got what's called the Matthew principle in Matthew, where it says the one who has little will be taken from him and it will be given to the one who has much. The one that has much grows exponentially. The one that has little cannot compete with an exponential growth. And so the goal is to create and take massive action until you get the one that has the capability of that exponential growth. And then there's essentially, it's an upward feedback loop where you just sort of shoot off into the stars. And so that's what my friend is experiencing on some limited scale, but his is, that's not what I wanted to do. His is taking off pretty quick. So, there we go. Okay. So let's come over here. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So let's come over here. This is our process for creating content. We're going to go to create, upload video, select the file. Now, I edited this right before we got on our call, how to start an evangelistic conversation. Open. And we're going to upload that into there. And you're going to see this is going to start coming up. Now, few things we need. And I don't think I spelled that right. Yep, great. How to start an evangelistic conversation without being awkward. Growing up, that was always my question. So I'm assuming that that's the case, but the keyword itself, I think it's how, let's see, how to EVANGEL. Let's try that. How to evangelize. Let's see that. How to share your faith, how to share the gospel effectively, how to witness. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make this one evangelism, because that is, I really want to go after that single keyword. I'm just going to dump a bunch of videos onto that. EVANGELISM. Evangelism, how to start an evangelistic conversation without being, how to start. I'm just going to say sharing the gospel. That's easier to read. I think evangelistic is kind of an awkward, clunky word. Okay. How to start sharing the gospel without being awkward. And we're going to write a description, which we're going to do next. Thumbnail we have to make. Come in here. I'm going to put this in evangelism training. I made a playlist for this since it's not my typical topic. No, it's not made for kids. My video contains promotions. No. Allow automatic chapters. Yes, this is where it breaks the video up into different sections, which is fine. Allow automatic placements. I don't remember this one. Oh, sure. If I mention a specific public place, it'll just link out to that place, and that's fine. Okay. Now, evangelism is the number one term. Oh my goodness, why? Is the number one term I want to include in there, because that is the keyword. Evangelism, and then we're going to go EVANGEL. Evangelism training here. Ooh, I want to know evangelism tips. I haven't seen that one. $63 and 2,500, 18 difficulty. So, I mean, that's pretty good. We'll throw that in there. Evangelism tips. Where'd we go? There we go. And we're basically just trying to give Google with these tags, a broad idea. You want maybe 5 at the most. You don't want to go crazy, because then you start confusing the algorithm. But let's say EVANG. Felt like it. Just did it. Evangelism tips, tools, teaching. Okay, we'll do tips. We have training. Okay. So cool. There we go. That's pretty good. Standard license, people can embed it. That's fine. If they embed the video on their website, great. More views to the video. Publish to subscriptions and feeds. Sure, yes, we want them to know it's there. Education. Yes, this is an educational video. Oh man, this is new. Category education type. Lecture problem walkthrough real life application. This is real life application. Problems. Ooh, this is interesting. This is totally new. Help learners find your explanation of how to solve problems with write the time the explanation started and the question that is answered. Interesting. All right, that's new. That's cool. So we can actually put timestamps into this and it will tell people exactly where to find the answer in the video. That also means they'll watch less of the video. So there's something to be. Okay, so is it education, comedy, news, policy? I'm just going to go people and blogs. We're going to get rid of education. There we go. That's fine. Hold all comments for review. Yes, when you have a young channel, you definitely don't want one super bad comment just appearing because, you know, that can affect things. When it's larger, it's not a big deal. Okay, so there we go. We're going to add this later. We're going to add this later. Any questions on this so far?
No.
Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Next, add subtitles. Sure, it can add subtitles. We're just going to go auto sync. Let's see, automatically map to the timeline. Great. I actually haven't ever done this. This one's new. We're going to hit done. I think that should add it. Yep. So it's going to just automatically subtitle it. Add an end screen. I haven't really focused on that. The channel, I'm just not really, it's not big enough really to get into all of the details. This is with the YouTube. It is very much an 80-20. I'm trying to do 20% of the work that gets 80% of the upside. And then when it's sustainable, meaning I'm not paying dollars out of my own pocket to build this thing, and it's got some ads showing and it pays for itself, then I'll go hire a video editor. And I had a video editor last year who helped me put a lot of these up. But it's like when the channel funds itself, we'll go hire video editors and have them do all the stuff. But for now, cards, don't care, not a big deal. We're just doing massive action as quickly as we can. Checks, we'll check your video for issues, restrict its visibility, and then, okay, cool. It's going to check if it wants to ban me. Gotta love being a Christian on YouTube. Okay, public, we're just going to go ahead and shoot it out there. Publish. Okay, so now it's going to say the video is uploading. This is 4K. It's 93%, but it's still going to process after that. So it's going to start. You'll see SD is standard definition, which is like 480 pixels across, which is tiny. And then as it processes all the information, it'll say 720 HD, you know, full HD, 1080p, and then it'll make 4K available as it's ready. So we're going to close that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have ChatGPT write us a description. But first, we're going to come over here. So again, the least work with the greatest output, evangelism training video 1. Here we go. This is the basic breakdown. Okay, so we're going to have a description of the video. ChatGPT is going to write this. I ask it to write me a 200-word, basically a mini blog with the keywords in it. What is the gospel in this case? And then we're going to just basically copy and paste this, come to our evangelism training playlist. Here's a free ministry ebook. I may end up deleting that out of there because we're not promoting that anymore. But if you want to work with Brett, if you want to read the full article about Brett, because I'm speaking, if somebody else ever filmed the video, we'd have an about them and their bio. All right. So basically we're going to take this, copy that, come back over here, come to the new video. And a lot of YouTube channels will have basically an end with the links. And these are our conversions, right? Get the ebook, get this, get that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. We're going to come over to whole ChatGPT, new chat. Ooh, what's this? Custom instructions. Okay, ChatGPT now has a feature with custom instructions where you can have it remember who it is and what it's talking about, and it will just automatically remember every time. So it's kind of like it's called pre-prompting. So that's something you can do. And you can apparently now make a profile where you have multiple of these and switch it between its custom instructions. Anyway, chat history and training. Save new chats to your history and allow them to be used by ChatGPT via model training. Unsaved chats will be, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Okay. We're going to go ahead and paste this in. And, oh, interesting. This is weird. How do I turn on the code interpreter? There we go. Okay, plugins. What plugins do I want enabled? I want YouTube. I think I have one in here specifically. There we go. YouTube summaries. And I'm going to look real quick, and I'm going to look up YouTube. YouTube. Let's look up A to Z YouTube summaries. I didn't like this one very much. It doesn't seem to actually crawl the video and give me a summary. It just reads the title. All right, let's try this one. I'll just give this one a shot. So it just integrated ChatGPT with this supposed YouTube summary maker. Couldn't log in with plugin. Fantastic. All right, try again here. This is not something I have done a lot of. YouTube. YouTube summary, free 100% free 100% free YouTube summarizer saves a lot of screen time by summarizing YouTube videos. Convert YouTube links into transcribed text. That's what I want. I want an actual text transcription where it knows what it says. I'm going to try you. Okay. Video cap. All right, so we're looking for that. Video cap. There we go. Can you turn on? Oh, I've probably got to turn something else off. 1 of 3 enabled. What's enabled? I'm going to refresh. I don't know what's going on here. ChatGPT 4. Plugins. Video cap. Video that. There we go. Okay. So we got it. It just needed to be refreshed. Okay. So I'm going to say access this YouTube video and write me a 200-word description. Make sure to use the keywords. Okay. And we're going to come over to our keyword list. This is the YouTube keyword list for ClickMail, by the way. And what do we got? We've got evangelism. Where is evangelism? We're going to go with evangelism. So I'm going to say evangelism training and evangelism, maybe online evangelism. So come back over to chat. There we go. Make sure to use effective evangelism, EVANGEL, evangelism training, online evangelism. There we go. Let's throw a couple of those keywords in there very closely. KEY keywords, effective evangelism training. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit go there. Excellent. All right. So this is, I was testing the superpower GPT thing to see if it has issues. It still has issues. We're going to get rid of it. That test is now complete. I really wish they would fix that because it's got some cool features, but apparently they're having an issue. Okay, cool. Do it again. Here we go. I saved the prompt. And we're going to come over here to plugins. Great. Select the other plugin, which was Yabble Access Link Video Captions. There we go. I'm going to turn off the other one so it uses the right one. There we go. All right. Now we should see it access this plugin, whatever that purple thing is. Yep, video captions. and insert YouTube video ID here. Error fetching the video. YouTube video ID. What is it? Oh, no, don't regenerate. Stop. Yeah, I need to give it. I need to give it the link. That would be helpful. All right, so we're going to come here. We're just going to edit this. There, save and submit, and now it will try again. Still, okay. Probably now the reason why this isn't working is because maybe the video hasn't actually published live yet. Let's go back. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so it says processing can take up to 70 minutes. And let's see if this video comes up when I actually use this link. Oh, well, for starters, I think I got the wrong link, so that could be part of it. MD5L FXS. Yeah, okay, so that's the right one. Okay, yeah, it probably has something to do with the video being really, really fresh. It's probably not even propagated yet. Let's see. All right, hello and welcome. Brett here with. Okay, so it exists. The transcription may not be live yet. That's a possibility. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take 5-10 minutes, get a little break. We'll come back. We'll see if it works then, and we'll continue with the making the picture for it, the thumbnail, and we'll also work on outputting the rest of that description and getting it fully live. Okay.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay. So coming back in here, description. Okay, so the link is not working because right now ChatGPT does not have access to the internet, and you can kind of sidestep it with some different things here and there, like HARPA, but there's a lot of hoopla going on about security. I think they're claiming right now with ChatGPT that they're updating the plugin, but really what they're doing is I think they're rolling things back a little bit to secure the AI, because there's actually a high potential for danger once the AI is released on the internet. Anyway, so they're looking back over all of their security stuff, and they're gonna re-release it, making sure it's not going to escape and try to take over the world, basically, is what I'm hearing. Anyway, description. So I went in, I gave it the title of the video and a super basic summary saying, the video emphasizes the importance of building a genuine rapport and then sharing the gospel when the person is trusting you and inviting you to do so, instead of just sort of awkwardly, you're at the bank and, it's like, do you know where you go when you die? That's something that my youth pastor told me when I was a kid. Like, yeah, just you're standing in line. Just ask someone if they know where they go when they die. It's not a good way to start because it breaks social norms and people immediately shut down and they go, this is a weirdo. Why would you ask me that? I don't know you. So that's the basic gist of the video is listen to them. We want to meet a deeply felt need, solve a problem. And the need that's most easily met in a conversation with someone is to help them to feel genuinely listened to and heard and understood. And we can just do that by asking questions. And a lot of times people will be honest, which is really surprising, but it's like, hey, well, how are you doing today? I go to the hot tub a lot. And so a lot of these videos talk about the hot tub. It's just where I go to relax and unwind a little bit. And I go to be by myself, and then people will just show up and I'll just be like, all right, I guess, God, this is the person you've got me talking to today. I get like 50-50. 50% of the time I get to be left alone. And then the other 50, I'm talking to people. But, you'll say, well, what's your name? My name's so-and-so. It's, oh, I'm Brett. What do you do? Oh, I do this, I do that. It's like, oh, well, day going okay for you? It's a tough day. And that is your intro to a gospel conversation. And what they're telling you is, when I go home, when I go to work, when I see my family, There's nobody else who's willing to listen to me and this thing that I'm struggling with. And so I'm willing to tell you. That's what they're telling you when they say, it's been a rough day. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear. I don't want to pry, but I'd love to listen if you're, love to know more about that. If you're willing to share, they will always say yes as long as you ask respectfully and sensitively, and they'll say yes every time. The reason why they said it was a tough day was because they wanted to tell someone about the tough day. And then you just ask questions. Oh, wow. Oh, you're in Hawaii because your mom's in the hospital. Yeah, she's in the hospital. Wow, I'm sorry to hear. What's she in the hospital for? Oh, she has stage 4 cancer and she's only going to live another week and I don't know what I'm going to do. They'll just dump stuff like that on you all the time. And so when we do gospel presentations, we want to listen. We want to let people process their feelings. We want to just say, wow, it sounds like you're really struggling. And it sounds like you're, you really just, you don't know what to do next. Yeah, I don't know what to do next. And here's, and they'll just keep sharing. And at some point, they will just say, what about you? What do you think? And that is the reciprocity, the law of reciprocity. Have we talked about reciprocity yet?
We did it last week, and
Yeah.
then you told me you had an article, so I read it. I thought it
Awesome.
was really good.
How'd that go? What did you think about that?
I thought it was interesting. It's very different to what people say evangelism is.
Uh-huh.
I
It's
thought it
very
was really good.
different. It's very different. It's very contrarian. And it's not that you can't evangelize just by sharing the gospel. I mean, there's just a time and place when it's like, oh, this is definitely a time, or the Holy Spirit's telling me to share the gospel. We'll just share the gospel. But most people are very uncomfortable, especially if they know you're a Christian. They're going to be very uncomfortable. They're going to be very defensive. And, purely strategically, it is, I don't have conversations with people that are uncomfortable. I can't think of any. People get, it comes from a little sales experience. It comes from a lot of books on psychology and biblical communication strategies that are healthy, and avoiding the shaming and the blaming and the guilting and just listening. And then it's crazy. They will always come around and say, well, what about you? Tell me what you think. What would you do? What's your advice? And that's when you can say whatever you want. You say it respectfully and say, even say, I don't know if you'll really like my advice, but I'm happy to give it if you want to hear it. Yeah, I want to hear it. And then you just have free reign to say whatever you want and they'll take it. So it is very different. It's also super effective. So I love sharing the gospel, and you want them to walk away glad they talked to you, not awkwarded out that you threw the Bible at them when they weren't talking about that. So anyway, that's the gist of my approach. And that's basically, this one is, how do you open a gospel message? And so basically the description here says, will you open a gospel message when they're ready, when you're talking to them and you're being a normal person and you've gone through the small talk and they've kind of shown their face a little bit and they're like, well, it's a tough day. Well, tell me more about that. And in the scriptures, we see Jesus saying, I come, what is it? It's the sick. It's not the healthy who need a doctor. It's the sick. I've come for the sick, right? Why did he come for the sick? Because people aren't looking for solutions to problems they don't have, right? If I'm just walk up to some guy on the street with street evangelism with my bullhorn, and I'm just telling him about Jesus, he doesn't care, because, and I'm not saying, nobody would accept Christ, because that's not the case, but the conversion rate is going to be lower because I'm not actually meeting a need or solving a problem. I'm just a guy shouting on the street. But if I really sit down and I talk to this guy and it turns out, his mom's in the hospital and he's crushed and he doesn't know what he's going to do, there is healing. And I can tell you about his name's Jesus, and you can match that up and you can help him solve his problem. And it's actually very impactful in that scenario. So anyway, so that is the basic gist: is open a normal conversation, wait for them to have a kind of a crack in their polite exterior, like, oh yeah, I do this, what do you do? and then ask questions to really open up that wound, not, super respectfully, and allowing them to process their emotions. And then when they're ready, then you can come in and share. And that's a super effective approach. And there is our description. So I just fed it a basic outline of that. And it created this for me. Evangelism. Oh, hey, where's the rest of that? Okay, apparently we're gonna have to go get that. Any thoughts or questions on that? And also, do you have any no, I'll ask that later. Thoughts or questions on kind of that approach? Or creating the description? We're kind of talking about two things at the same time here.
No, I don't have any questions on creating the description.
Okay.
I think going back to what you were just talking about, I think churches in the UK anyway, push a lot. Because I read in your article about how, which I thought was really good, how you shouldn't expect them to just accept Christ there and then. And
Mhm.
I think, like in churches, it's so pushed that that's what evangelism is, and that's got to be the goal. If they
Yeah.
don't achieve that, then it was a failure.
Yeah. And that's such a hugely mistaken belief. And I've had Christians come up to me on the street, you know? It's like, this is my whole life. And they're like, I want to tell you about Jesus. And it's like, oh, do you? Please share with me. Yeah, and they're evangelizing to me, but they didn't talk to me long enough to know that I already know Jesus. That's the weirdest thing ever. You're a weirdo, that's so uncomfortable. And I'm on your side in this, and I'm uncomfortable. So it's not good. Like when you make Christians uncomfortable, you're making non-Christians uncomfortable. So the goal, and when you think about it, we talk about these mental models, right? It's an odds game. We're talking about taking massive action and seeing some fruit, right? That's biblical, right? You reap what you sow, right? One man sows and another waters, but God creates the growth. Well, what does that mean? You sow 100 seeds and 3 are going to grow. That is your conversion rate on a website, right? You write a bunch of blogs, you get a bunch of people on there, and 3% are going to convert. Same thing with the gospel message. You're going to talk to 100 people, and 3 are going to come to Jesus. I don't know what the number is, but that's how it works, right? What does Paul say? He says, I became all things to all people so that I might win all of them. No, he said, so I might win a few. So he's optimizing his approach. He's becoming all things to all people. He's going to the Areopagus. He's studying all of their religions. And in that case, he was studying the unknown, the temple of the unknown, the altar of the unknown God is actually what is called Neoplatonism, is what scholars believe, which is very similar to Christianity. And he said, oh, the Logos, that thing that you guys study, this sort of reason that's mixed. We know Logos from the Bible. Logos was a philosophical concept way before the Bible, hundreds of years before. Plato and Aristotle and Socrates were talking about the Logos, which is this sort of reason that pervades reality, right? The natural law is what they're talking about, but there's sort of the spirit of truth. And if you dig it out, you can find things that are true. Kind of what they're saying is God makes himself known through creation, and that is the temple to the unknown God. There's this God out there that creates this order in the world, and we know the order, but we don't know the God. And Paul goes, well, I know him. In the beginning was the Logos. And boom, gospel presentation specifically tailored to them. He's still not he's optimizing his approach, and he's still not expecting to win all of them. He's expecting to win a few. So when we share the gospel, we're not going to convert every single person. That just makes really awkward pressure. And what are we going to do? It's just, like this guy has a motivation for me and I have to do it or it's going to be awkward. And then they end up saying the prayer and they feel gross because they're just doing it to please you. It's very controlling. No. Hey, there's a great series of books called Boundaries by 2 Christian PhDs. It's relationships for relationships. It's how to have healthy boundaries. But one of the things they say is that love abounds in freedom. And if we're really going to love the people we're talking to, we have to give them 100% free choice. It's like, listen, I really care about you. And if you want my opinion because you're asking, I'll give it to you, but this is totally your choice. And so the goal of a gospel presentation is to identify a choice that they have and then kind of butt out, because what they choose is between them and God, not you and God. God provides the growth. He'll talk to them and he'll help them make the choice. You just show them the choice. So anyway, that is to the point of the gospel, and we can talk more about that because I know that's something that you've said that you're pretty passionate about. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just like it's just funny because that is how everyone evangelizes in
Yes.
the UK. Like it's
Yes.
funny, but it's sad because I don't think it's effective either.
Do you remember the definition of criticism?
Something like unwanted advice or something
Exactly
is
it.
criticism.
That is in communication. That's from Christian therapists and Christian counselors, right? If I tell my wife, like, let me tell you what to do in this situation, and then I give her a bunch of advice, she's going to be like, don't tell me what to do. So like, well, I'm just trying to help. I was just trying to help you fix your problem. And it's like, I didn't ask for your advice. It's criticism. I'm criticizing her because it's actually what it is. But when we share the gospel, we think well, let me tell you how to save your soul. We're criticizing them. And it's always going to come across wrong because we don't like it. If my mother-in-law comes over and then says, Brett, I don't think you're making enough money for my daughter, I'm going to be like, I don't like you very much. That's criticism. Like, I didn't ask for your advice. I didn't ask for your opinion. Leave me alone. So when people do it to us, we know it's criticism, but when we do it to other people, we miss it and we wonder why they're uncomfortable and they're defensive and they shut down. Well, the last 30 years or 40 years, how do people refer to us in the church? Judgy and critical. Does that sound familiar? That's how
Yeah.
people think of Christians. We're judgmental and we criticize people. No, we don't. We don't do. Yeah, we do. We do it all the time. Every time we share the gospel, we're criticizing people. So we got to not do that. Anyway, so we've got the new description in here. We've got in this video, Brett, these nuances of effective evangelism. Okay, cool. So we've got that. We've got that saved. Now we're going to go. What is this? Okay, without being awkward, we're going to come over here. We're going to come to Canva. Create a design. Nope, we're not going to create a design. We're going to come to YouTube thumbnails 1. We're going to go to that one. Now, I can't design anything. I do not have that gift. I have tried and tried, and it doesn't work. So I just copy ones that I know look good and tweak them. That is my strategy. Okay, we've got a thoughtful looking person. This is way too many pictures of my own face. Okay, I'm looking for something maybe that's confused, or I don't know, maybe the computer and the mic. These are old pictures. Okay, that's all right. Like, I don't know how to share the gospel without being confused. Oh my gosh, there are so many of these. All right, we're going to go with that one. There. All right, I'm going to take this picture and we're going to come up here and we're going to we're going to duplicate this. We're going to delete this, drop that on. Too big. We're going to shrink him down there. Okay. Start. Okay, so how would we say this in like 4 words? How to open the video is on how to open the convert, because a lot of people think like you just whip it out and you just say, hey, do you know where you're going when you die? Like, how do you open that conversation? How would we say that in like 4 words? Start sharing Write open how to begin evangelizing. I like that. All right. How to, no, that can be on the same line. Now we got 3 lines. Good. These are just long words. To begin, evangelicing. Okay, there we go. How to begin evangelizing. We're going to move this stuff around a little bit because, so one thing we're looking for, and this is my attempt at design training, which is admittedly not the greatest, is we want to work on weighting. And you'll notice this picture feels really empty because of all this space up here. I don't like that. The picture is just a big size. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring this down here. All right, that's okay. We can work with that. Now we've got evangelizing, which we need to bring to front, position to front. There we go. Okay. And then this thingy-majig here needs to cover. And we need to position that toward the front, not just the front. There we go. Okay. How to begin evangelizing, how to begin. Let's see. Is there another color? Let me see here. There, take this. There we go. Okay, so we're going to position, send that backward. There we go. And maybe center this stuff a little bit better. That feels a little bit more balanced. And again, this is like not something I'm good at training. Let me see here. How to begin. Let's see, we might need to take the begin and spin it just a little bit. Get a little. Come on. There we go. Okay. Begin, B-E-G-I-N. Okay. How to begin evangelizing. I want to take this text and I want to make this orange, ClickMill orange, banging. Maybe not quite that much. Oh, it blends in. There we go. All right, no more blending in. And I actually think I like this blue thing better because that weird orange box on the end. Oh, well, look at that. I can get rid of that. Never mind. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm actually going to get rid of. Sometimes less is more here. And I think I'm just going to make that bottom the same. There we go. That's pretty good. How to begin evangelizing. Begin. Ooh, that looks weird. What color was that word? Custom. Yeah. White. Okay, maybe this just needs to be a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, how to begin. White. Seems a little weird. Why does it feel off? Maybe I can change the text here to light. Oh, can't do that. That's crazy. I don't know. Something's just not, it doesn't feel right there. How, oh, you know what? This can be blue. There we go. We'll go light blue with this. Nope, that looks weird. That looks weird. That's invisible. Okay, maybe this needs to go up behind here. Are you kind of seeing what I'm getting at? That feels better. That feels a little better. Okay. And let's see. We're going to flatten this one out again. There we go. Okay. Thoughts, Any thoughts or feedback on this?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. A lot of people put a lot of focus and attention into this stuff, and I just really don't care because it really is an odds game. You can make a website that is just text on white background and no design, and sooner or later you're going to get, you know, a big hit blog because, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, all of the coloring and design and all this stuff is just the candy wrapper. And what people want is they want to get into the candy bar and decide they like it. So, you know, you just make enough of these candy bars or candy wrappers. Because what am I saying? Yeah, you make enough just candy bars, just content. Sooner or later, one's going to go because people are going to like it. So everything else is marketing. So I'm kind of downplaying marketing. We're doing 20% of marketing for 80% of the result. This is page 17. Download 136. We do not want that. 17. Right there. Done. Download. Okay. And these are a specific size. I believe these are 1920 by 1080. I can't really remember, but YouTube has a very specific size that they want these to be. Evangelism, how to start sharing the gospel, right here. How to begin evangelizing. Open. Now, this is going to start getting a higher click-through rate because, you know, just some guy with a goofy smile isn't going to pull them in quite as much as this. So there we go. We've got that on there. Let's make sure we have evangelism training. Great. Okay. So that's done. And that is the basic YouTube video way to kind of, what do you want to say, launch these out. Any questions about that process?
When you were initially putting up the video with like the description and things like that, it said about adding cards. What does that mean?
The cards are the little things that, where's my video? Ugh. They pop up like right up here. And the cards, and basically it's like, click here, and it goes to a link. Like, so if I'm talking and it's, oh, hey, oh, and we have a whole downloadable how to share the gospel ebook, totally free. Check it out. It's going to pop up right here. And there's like a little link thing. That's a card. Okay. I think that's right.
And are they useful?
Yes, because they're a great way to get people to come off of YouTube, right? It's a good way to get them to interact with something else. You can also say, you know, we've also got another video and it links up there. So yes, it's a great way to convert people off of that. Okay. Now we're going to go to evangelism. This is a test. Let's just see if we're even showing up, and probably not because, you know, brand new video. And we also don't have anything in this niche yet. So evangelism is the big keyword we're looking for. And now notice this in terms of marketing. Okay. Right off of the bat, we are going to have a higher click-through rate because what do you notice about all the thumbnails in these pictures?
A lot of them are just like part of the clip.
Yep,
They're not actually their own thumbnail.
very true. A lot of them are part of the clip. What do you notice about that?
Yours stands out probably because of the color.
Yeah, right. Everybody's got blue, black, random picture, tans, blacks, whites, white, a weird eyeball picture. There's nothing here that grabs your attention. They all blend together. Blues, purples, like they're all calming colors. This one sticks out a little bit. That's got green and orange. That's probably the best thumbnail just because of the color. So call to action, the thumbnail is the call to action to click on the video and watch it. And so you want to stick out, and pastors aren't doing this, you know? So if you can just imagine right here, if that orange video was right here, we would get all the clicks because it's just the thing that draws the eye. And that is why I have that obnoxious ClickMail orange everywhere. Not because I like the orange, but because it makes us stand out. Okay. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to look up the sub keyword evangelism and then evangelism training. And let's see what happens here. You'll notice this one's actually got a little orange on it, which is smart. Also, you'll notice it's ranking number 4. So that's interesting. one of the bonuses that we've got is I have this 4K camera, and you'll notice a lot of 4K videos are actually showing up in the top now. So I think that has an impact on the ranking algorithm. Let's see here. Okay, so you'll notice, I mean, look at all the colors on this page. I mean, that is going to grab your attention right off the bat. And you'll notice 4K right here. So that's great. How to start evangelizing without being awkward. Okay, hopefully that's very personable. I throw a lot of this whole, what do you want to say? I throw a lot of this like super formal stuff out, and just what do people actually want to know? Like, how do you have this conversation without feeling weird, it's uncomfortable, and just try to be authentic about it. Anyway. All right, cool. So that's in there. We can see it. All right, now let's come back over here. What was I going to say? Oh, right. Okay. So what is this? This is evangelism training. What is the gospel? Okay. So we're going to take this. What is the gospel message? And we're going to come right back over here. That's not it. Right back over here. There we go. And I'm just going to get a different one. So like this might be a good basic setup for like digital evangelism when we get into a video on that. We got a phone in the background. That could be cool. I could make a video on evangelism fail. No, okay, we won't do that. That won't come across. Okay. Is your church audience confused? What is the gospel message? Ooh, okay, there we go. This could work. What is... Oh, that is actually a versus, so we're going to have to fix that. What is the oh, come on. GOS gospel message? What is the gospel message? Okay, boom. Ooh, gospel. Okay, any questions about this while we're doing this and just throwing this together here?
No.
What is, we're going to copy this thing, paste it. Oh, no, copy, paste. Okay. Oh, no, don't do that. Okay. Now let's see here. What is the gospel message? Let's go. What is the gospel? Okay, and I think these letters actually look decent together, except probably what I'm going to do. No, that's fine. We're just going to leave it. What is the gospel message? Yeah, maybe bring this up a little higher. Just kind of back up and look at it for spacing. What is the gospel message? And I'm going to remove these. And we're going to put a different picture back here. Images. Where pictures? Photos. There we go. Okay. Conversation. We'll see if we have people having a nice conversation. That's going to be kind of weird because there's just like people sitting over my shoulder. I don't know if that's going to come across the right way. One thing I could probably do. Let me see. Let's go position. You're welcome to tell me if this looks weird, by the way. Okay. Let me think here. I think because it's kind of in the forefront a little much, I want to try this. Put that right there. Oops. Okay. Now watch this. Do a little bit of magic here. We're going to turn this to white. We're going to go to this right here, transparency. We're going to drop this down a little bit. Right there. And then I'm going to come over to animate and we're going to, that's not it. This one, edit photo. I'm going to go to blur, adjust. I'm going to do just a teensy tiny bit of blur. Where is that? Sharpness, tint, temperature, clarity. Maybe it's clarity. Ooh. Interesting. What do you like better? Do you like it this way? Or do you like it, excuse me, that way?
I like it the second way.
This one right here?
No, the other one.
Okay. Good deal. See, this is why I ask, because I don't have an eye for these things. Contrast. What, I'm so confused. Where's the blur? I know you can blur the images just a tiny bit. Oh, there we go. Blur. Ah, there we go. Intensity. Okay. And I'm just going to do it just a little. Let's see if that looks good. And it may not. Okay. And then we're going to go to position back. What do we think about that?
I actually really like it. I didn't think it was going to work when you put that photo in, but I actually like it.
Say it again. Oh, you okay. So you do think it works?
Yeah.
It's almost like you're like this guy is thinking about what the gospel message is and he's thinking about sharing it. And it's like, what,
Yeah.
maybe it kind of tells a story almost. All right, well, let's see if that works. So we got 10. So this is page 10, download, not all 137. We're going to 10. Okay, 10, done. That's kind of cool. The more I look at that, the more I like that. Okay, 10. Now, if you ever have an image that needs a transparent background, you just click that right there and you get to pull the transparent background out. So when you paste whatever it is, it looks right. Anyway, okay, we're going to download that. We're going to come over here. We're going to wait for that to download. Looks like we got it. Okay, there it is. Now, I suspect too, I didn't do this, but I suspect that the file name of the thumbnail may be parsed by Google for keywords. It's possible. I don't know if that's the case, but it could be. It's another place they can find it. Okay. What is the gospel message? Awesome. Okay. So let's go and just check real quick, see how this is looking. What are the keywords here? Evangelism training. Okay. Let's go over here, new incognito window. We're going to look one more time and see. Oh, YouTube. All right. Let's go long tail first. What is the gospel? Just want to see if it's showing up. Yeah. Okay. So notice not brightly colored, black, 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 brownish, black, 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 a bunch of sooner or later will show up. This is a brand new video, so it's definitely not going to be ranking high this second. Let's see. Yeah, doesn't look like we're going to show up for that one. Okay, let's go back up. Let's just try evangelism training. Ooh. Let's see if we see it in here. Maybe we missed it last time because it wasn't colored. Okay. That one's there. All right. Well, we'll give it up. Maybe we'll try this evangelism training, how to share So share the gospel. There, let's try that. Maybe that will be more specific. Still, the colors. Okay. Well, looks like we may not be finding that one this time. Oh, what is the gospel message? There it is. I like it. I think it's good. All right. Cool. So that is training on how to post YouTube videos, how to set them up to get the highest possible click-through rate. And, 80 to 90% of the YouTube videos are going to not be that good. And so, yeah, so that's all you need to know there. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Stop